unfortunately, misinformation.
That was just the latest dramatic turn in a very bizarre story today that had a roller coaster-like feel for literally everybody who was watching. 6-year-old Falcon Heene had been believed to have been on board that helium-like aircraft that traveled for 2 hours over the skies of Colorado before coming to a much softer than expected landing. The family is listening. The family is talking right now outside their home. The boy's been found alive, but a lot of questions for them. Let's listen.
So he said he's going to sneak inside. Okay. Told Bradford he's going to sneak inside.
So it's Bradford, Falcon, and
Rio, RYO. Okay, guys. Rio, did you see him get in?
So how did the balloon get loose? How did we go from maybe the kid getting inside the craft to actually the thing coming untethered?
Well, there was a mishap. I'm not going to lay blame on anybody. It was supposed to be tethered down. It wasn't tethered properly, and it took off. The experiment should have lasted us a good 20 to 30 days with that much helium. Well, that's what we planned on anyway.
And what was your first reaction when the balloon went off? Did you call the cops or what?
What's that?
What did you do? Did you call 911?
My first call, well, the first thing I didn't believe Brad, so he ran around the house yelling for Falcon, and then shortly thereafter I had called the FAA. I figured that was the one to call because they could track him, and then Bradford was trying to watch what direction it was going.
Is Brad your oldest?
Bradford's my oldest.
Brad, how did it come undone? How did it come undone?
What's your wife? We want to get back right now, guys.
So it was loose?
My Yumi.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything to the searchers?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you want to say anything to the searchers?
Oh gosh, yeah. yes.
We really wanted to.
Okay, that's something really big. That's probably the biggest reason why I wanted to come out here. I really want to thank the local police department, Larimer County Sheriff, and all their efforts. You guys are great. I want to thank the news helicopters that were helping out in the search. I heard the police department, they were out there first.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And they got reports back what was going on, so that kept us informed.
So 6, how old? 9 and
6, 8, and 10.
Has the Sheriff's Department said whether it's sending you a bill for the resources?
Gosh, I hope not.
And tell us how you felt the first time when you saw your son. When you first saw your son this afternoon?
Oh, buddy. Oh, my legs got weak. I couldn't even walk from one room to the next here. Right now, my legs are weak, and that's kind of why I wanted to go back and sit down. I'm out of energy right now.
I thought that's a miracle to see you.
Falcon?
Well, that was Richard Heene and his family in their latest sort of semi-news conference. That was from tape a short time ago. A lot of people might find it curious that in the midst of all of this, in the midst of the chaos of suspecting that your child is on board a runaway helium balloon, that you would call the Federal Aviation Administration as opposed to calling 911. But he said it there. I'm not sure many of us would even have the FAA number in our area, but Richard Heene is an amateur scientist. He is a storm chaser, and he said he had been putting in 20 or 30 days supply of helium in that thing, and clearly, at least it seemed there, he wanted to thank the news media for tracking this and also thank authorities for tracking it and putting so many resources into it. Joining us now is Brandon Williams. He's the Public Information Officer for the Colorado Division of Emergency Management. And Brandon, I wonder if there's a way to put a price tag in terms of how much was spent to try to track this balloon and figure this one out today.
I mean, we can sort that out in the next few days. I mean, obviously, we're all at work. This is what we do, and the two most important things today are, one, that the child's okay. There are a lot of parents that work here in the Emergency Operations Center, and we were very relieved. Second thing, though, to remember is that no responding agency had a book on the shelf that said child in balloon that they could pull down and look at. But today, the existing practices, procedures, we put them into play, and everybody from the local to the state level, to liaison with the National Guard, came together to make sure that we were tracking the balloon. We knew where it landed, and we were able to help coordinate local and state resources to make sure that everything was okay.
I know that there are people, there are a lot of hot air balloon enthusiasts in Colorado and, of course, other states. So this was a helium balloon, but a little bit different. But is there any, I don't know, do you have any sort of idea of should this sort of thing happen again, or should there be an accident involving one of these tour operators, what you would do? What did you learn about today?
Sure. I mean, the first thing that happened when we were notified from our local and regional emergency managers was we immediately established a hotline with the Air National Guard, knowing that this was something that was in the air over Colorado. We knew that we needed to get them involved and start coordinating information back and forth. We established lines of communication with the incident command that was on site. We contacted Denver International Airport Emergency Operations Center, got in touch, obviously, with the governor's office to begin projecting what an assessment was if requests started to happen. I mean, thankfully, we didn't get to a point today where we had any formal requests, but it's necessary to put those plans into play and start to move in that direction. And even when the craft touched down on the ground, the next priority was to start to think about search and rescue and how, if it extended beyond mutual aid agreements, what type of resources we might be able to provide, and making sure we were available to assist locals for whatever they needed to have on site to make it happen.
By the way, in our split screen, you're looking at Falcon Heene, the 6-year-old boy who was hiding in the attic. The reason that we're not bringing these comments to you is because you can't really hear them because of the helicopters and all the noise. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to, based on some of the local reporters on the ground, try to find out exactly what it is the 6-year-old boy is saying about this episode, and we will bring that information to you. Finally, Brandon, anything about this? I mean, one thing I actually have a question for you, and that is, we heard Richard Heene say that the first phone call he made was to the FAA. I can't imagine that is what you want people to do when they get into this sort of trouble again. You still want people to call 911, right?
911 is always the default to call with any information. You got a gut feeling that something doesn't look right, feel right, or something's going wrong, you call 911.
All right, Brandon Williams from the Colorado department that has been involved in coordinating the response today. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And up next, we will get some insights into the Heene family, their appearance on the Wife Swap reality TV program, and exactly how they were perceived by their neighbors. We'll talk to one of the neighbors. You're watching Hardball only on MSNBC.